The truth was finally clear. The stranger was not an ordinary man. He was from the future, many years ahead. He had been sent back in time with one mission, to stop the ancient weapon before it could be used. But the time jump was dangerous. When he arrived in the past, his memory was broken. He forgot who he was. He forgot his mission. For a long time, he wandered across planets, looking for answers. It was only when he met the alien warrior that his memory began to return, piece by piece. Now, the stranger and the alien were no longer strangers. They were partners, brothers in war. Together, they traveled across space, following the last clues to the weapon's final location. The journey ended on a cold, silent world. The planet had no name. Its surface was covered in thick ice, cracked and glowing under a dark sky. It was the last place in the galaxy anyone would look for a weapon. But this was exactly where the ancients had hidden it. The alien warrior stood quietly, looking at the frozen mountains ahead. This place, he said, was built to bury secrets forever. The stranger stepped forward. Then we digged them out. Using scanners and old maps, they found the entrance to an ancient facility under the ice. The door was sealed with forgotten symbols, but the alien touched them one by one. The door opened with a low rumble. Inside, the halls were dark and deep. Ice covered the walls. Broken machines lay silent, untouched for thousands of years. At the heart of the facility, they found it, the weapon. A large glowing core, surrounded by energy rings. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Even now, after so long, it was still active, still dangerous. But they were not alone. From above, enemy ships began to land. Dark, sharp, and quiet. These were not simple raiders. They were descendants of the alien warrior's enemies. Their goal was clear, to take the weapon and use it to rule all time. The final battle began. The alien warrior drew his sword. The stranger activated the last defense codes he remembered. Together, they fought side by side. Alien against alien, man against time itself. Lasers burned through the ice. Explosions shook the ground. The enemy came in waves, but they were no match for the fury of the old warrior and the skill of the future man. Still, more kept coming. The alien was wounded. His armor cracked. He was strong, but even he had limits. The stranger knew what had to be done. He ran to the weapon's control core. He started the self-destruct sequence. The weapon could not be moved. It could not be taken. It had to be destroyed. But to finish the sequence, someone had to stay behind and link with the system manually. The process would burn through the body. It was a death sentence. The alien saw what the stranger was doing. He shouted, "No, there must be another way." The stranger looked back and smiled. "There is no other way. This is why I was sent." The countdown started. 10 seconds. 9. 8. But then, the alien did something no one expected. He threw himself over the stranger and activated his energy shield. It wrapped around both of them like a bubble. The explosion came, bright, loud, and endless. The weapon was gone. The facility collapsed. The mountain broke apart. Everything went silent. Later, the stranger opened his eyes. He was alive. The alien's shield had saved them both. The warrior lay beside him, breathing hard, armor shattered, but alive. The sky was clear now. No more enemies. No more fear. The stranger sat up slowly. "We did it," he said. The alien turned his head. His voice was weak but steady. "The past is safe. The future is changed." They stood together, looking at the remains of the frozen world. The weapon was gone forever. The timeline was protected. No one could use that power again. Then, the alien did something he had never done before. He bowed deeply. "You are my brother," he said. "Not by blood, by choice." The stranger placed a hand on his shoulder. "We fight together. We survive together." They walked back to their ship, wounded but proud, silent but united. When the engine started, the sky above them turned to stars, and they flew off into the unknown. Two warriors, one from the past, one from the future, lost in time, but never alone again. Everyone inside the space station froze. The alien warrior's eyes had opened. For 200 years, no one had seen even the smallest movement. People believed he was dead or trapped in some kind of stasis. But now his glowing eyes looked straight into the strangers. The control room filled with alarms. Red lights flashed. Security officers shouted, "Target is active. Prepare to fire." But the stranger raised his hand and spoke calmly into the microphone. "Do not shoot," he said. The command center paused. This man was a nobody. No name, no records. But he had walked into the most dangerous room on the station without fear. Now he was face to face with the alien, and the alien was not attacking him. People watched through the cameras, holding their breath. The stranger spoke again, but not in English. His voice was deep, steady, and full of power. The language was old, forgotten, a code no one on the station could understand. But the alien understood. His head tilted slightly. Then he responded, in the same ancient language. For a moment, it was silent. Then the alien moved again. He slowly placed his sword on the floor. His armor made a strange, low sound as he stepped forward. The air around him seemed to vibrate. He looked at the stranger and did something shocking. He bowed. Everyone watching gasped. The guards rushed to the door, but the station commander held up her hand. "Wait," she said. "Something strange is happening." The stranger turned to the nearest camera. "He's not your enemy," he said. "He was never your enemy." "Then who is he?" The commander asked through the speaker. "He is a warrior from a forgotten war," the stranger answered. "He was betrayed by his own kind, frozen in time as punishment, but now he has a mission to finish." The commander looked confused. "What kind of mission?" "I can't explain everything," the stranger said. "Not yet, but I need to leave this place. With him. Alone." Security teams argued. The scientists protested. But deep down, they all knew the truth. Something powerful was waking up, and no one could stop it. Finally, the commander gave the order. "Let them go." The stranger nodded in thanks. The alien picked up his sword and walked beside him, silent and strong. As they left the room, the walls seemed to shake, like the station itself was afraid. They'd walked to the hangar. A hidden ship had been waiting, hidden deep in the wreck where the alien had first been found. Most thought it was just junk, but now the stranger activated it with a single touch. Lights turned on. Engines hummed. The ship rose like it had never aged. The stranger and the alien entered the ship together. No one tried to stop them. The hangar doors opened. The ship vanished into space. Inside the ship, the alien finally spoke in a voice deep and powerful. "You know who I am," he said. The stranger nodded. "Yes, and I know what you lost." The alien stared ahead. "They fear me. They should. But you do not fear me. Why?" The stranger looked at him calmly. "Because I know you're not the monster they think you are. You were betrayed, not broken." The alien said nothing, but there was a slight nod, maybe respect. They traveled for hours in silence. The ship was faster than any human technology. It moved through space like it was gliding on water. The alien sat in meditation. The stranger looked through old files stored in the ship's memory, maps, logs, records of a war lost to time. Late that night, the stranger looked at the alien and asked, "Why did you bow to me?" The alien's eyes glowed faintly. "Because you carry something powerful, not a weapon, but a memory, a truth I had forgotten. You reminded me who I was." The stranger looked away. Something inside him was starting to awaken too. A memory, a purpose. But before he could speak again, the ship's alarms lit up. Something was following them. The alien stood. "They'd found us," he said. "Who?" asked the stranger. The ones who buried me. The ones who still fear the truth. On the screen, a black ship appeared. Silent. Fast. Full of death. The stranger and the alien looked at each other. No more hiding, the alien said. Together, they'd prepared for battle. A human and an ancient warrior, no longer strangers. The alien ship moved fast, faster than anything built by humans, but the black shadow ship behind them was catching up. It didn't appear on any scanner. It made no sound. Its shape shifted like smoke in space. The stranger stood beside the alien warrior on the control deck. The alarms were quiet now, but the tension was high. They're close, the alien said. Can we outrun them? The stranger asked. The alien shook his head. Not in this part of space. The void zone weakens the engines. The stranger looked at the map. The void zone was dangerous. Empty space full of debris, broken satellites, and old wrecks from forgotten wars. Signals didn't work well here. Most ships avoided it. But this was the only way to reach their next destination quickly. The alien walked to a wall and touched a control panel. Prepare for battle, he said. Weapon systems turned on. The ship's sides opened to reveal energy cannons. Defense shields hummed to life. The alien picked up his old sword and a strange gun that seemed half alive. I'll take the front, he said. You mean outside? The stranger asked. Yes, I fight better in open space. You'll get killed. I've died once already, the alien replied. Before the stranger could argue, the enemy attacked. The black ship released small drones, fast, deadly machines. They flew like insects, surrounding the alien ship in seconds. Laser blasts hit the shields. Sparks flew. The ship shook hard. The alien walked to the airlock and opened it. The vacuum of space didn't affect him. His armor adjusted. He launched himself into the battle. Outside, he moved like lightning. His sword cut through drones with perfect strikes. The gun in his other hand fired blasts that turned metal into dust. One by one, the drones exploded. But the enemy ship itself was still coming. Inside, the stranger took control of the ship's defense. He used the cannons, shooting down any drone that got too close. His hands moved fast, his mind calm. It was like he had done this before. Many times. But he didn't know how. Another piece of his memory came back. He had flown ships like this, fought enemies like this. In the future, he had trained for war. Suddenly, a missile hit the back of the ship. Alarms screamed. One engine went dark. The ship spun for a second before the stranger stabilized it. We're hit, he shouted through the comms. I'm coming, the alien answered. Within seconds, the warrior returned through the airlock, covered in damage but still strong. They're not just hunting us, the alien said. They're testing us. Why? To see if I'm still weak. To see if you are the one from the prophecy. The stranger stared at him. What prophecy? The alien didn't answer right away. He sat down and closed his eyes. In my time, before they betrayed me, there was a belief, he said slowly, that in the darkest hour, a warrior would return from the stars. Not alien, not one of us, but something new. A guide, a judge, a man who remembers the future. The stranger didn't speak. The alien opened his eyes. You are him, aren't you? I don't know, the stranger whispered. Maybe. More memories returned. A hidden base, a mission, a command to go back in time and stop the weapon before it was found. But there was something else, someone he had left behind. Before he could remember more, a signal appeared on the screen. A weak voice. Help, please. We are lost. Survivors, help us. The stranger leaned forward. It's a distress call. The alien frowned. It's a trap. How do you know? The enemy uses dead voices. They record them from real victims. The stranger hesitated. The voice sounded real, full of fear, but the alien's face was cold and certain. Then the black ship disappeared. "Gone," the stranger said. "No," the alien replied. "They're cloaked, watching." The distress call kept repeating. "Help, please." The stranger made a choice. He turned off the signal. "Good," said the alien. "If you had followed it, we would both be dead." The ship moved forward again, leaving the trap behind. Hours later, the two sat in silence. The alien finally said, "They will come again. Stronger." "I know," the stranger said. "Are you ready?" The stranger looked at his hands. "I think I've always been ready." The ship disappeared into the blackness of space, heading for their next destination. But both knew the war had only just begun. The ship entered orbit around a silent world. Once, long ago, this planet had life. Green forests, tall cities, oceans full of light. Now it was ash and rock. Everything was burned. The sky was gray. No birds, no wind, just silence. "This was my home," the alien warrior said quietly. The stranger looked out the window. "They destroyed it." The alien nodded. "They feared what we were building. Peace, unity, a future without war. So they came with fire." The stranger said nothing, but his hands tightened into fists. They landed near a broken tower. It stood alone in the dust, half collapsed, reaching toward the sky like a skeleton. The ground was full of bones, some old, some fossilized in black stone. The stranger stepped down first. The air was dry, but breathable. He walked beside the alien, who looked around like he was walking through a dream. "I buried my family here," the alien said. "I was the only one who survived, and I was punished for that." "Why?" the stranger asked. "Because I refused to follow their orders. I chose to protect instead of destroy." The stranger placed a hand on the warrior's shoulder. "You made the right choice." They walked toward the tower. At the base, a hidden door waited. The alien touched it, and it opened with a soft hiss. Inside, the air was cooler. There were lights, very weak, but still alive. This place had power, memory. "This was our final archive," the alien explained. "Before the war, we hid records here. Maps, messages, warnings. They went deeper underground. Strange machines lit up as they passed. Some recognized the alien's presence and activated. Screens blinked on. Holograms shimmered in the air. One screen showed a large map of the galaxy. Several points were marked in red. "These," the alien said, "are possible locations of the weapon." The stranger stared. "How do we know which one is real?" "We don't," the alien replied. "But one of them is on a frozen planet, hidden under ice. It matches the vision I saw during my sleep." He touched the red point glowing on the map. "That's where we go next." Suddenly, alarms started to beep. A voice echoed through the old system. "Intruders detected." The alien froze. "That's not part of this tower." "What is it?" the stranger asked. The alien's face hardened. "They've followed us again." The tower shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Outside, engines roared. Enemy soldiers began to drop from the sky. Not drones this time. Real beings in dark armor, fast and deadly. The stranger and the alien looked at each other. "No more running," the stranger said. "Agreed," said the alien. They ran to the main door and prepared for battle. The first wave of enemies came fast. Blasters fired. Smoke filled the air. But the stranger moved like lightning. He dodged, shot back, and protected the archive entrance. The alien fought with pure fury, his sword cutting through armor like paper. The tower shook again. A heavy enemy landed, taller than the rest, with red eyes and a voice like thunder. "I have come for the key," it said. "What key?" the stranger asked. The enemy pointed at him. Your blood opens the weapon." The stranger froze. What are you talking about? But the alien already knew. In the future, he said, your people found our weapon. They added their own code to it. DNA locks, time links. You were sent back not just to stop it, but because only you can activate it. The enemy moved forward. If we kill you, the weapon stays buried. But if we take you, we rule forever. The stranger didn't wait. He charged. The battle was brutal. The enemy commander was strong, too strong. He threw the stranger across the room. The alien blocked his next strike, but was slammed into a wall. The stranger stood again, blood on his face. His vision blurred, his legs shook. But he walked forward anyway. He remembered now. The mission, the training, the pain. He had died once before. In the future, they'd rebuilt him for this mission. He was a weapon too. He took out a small device from his coat, a pulse detonator. He threw it at the enemy. The explosion was small, but strong enough to knock the enemy back. The alien followed, slicing deep into its armor. Finally, the enemy fell. The ground shook again, but this time, it was the tower falling apart. Go, the alien shouted. They ran, carrying whatever data they could grab. As they flew away, the tower collapsed behind them, taking the last archive with it. Inside the ship, the stranger sat silently. I'm not just a messenger, he said. I'm the key. Yes, the alien said. And now, the real war begins. They looked at the map again. The frozen planet waited. One last chance to stop the future. The frozen planet was quiet, too quiet. Clouds of snow drifted across the surface, pushed by strong winds. Mountains of ice reached into the sky like giant frozen claws. The sun was far away, barely warming the cold land. The stranger and the alien warrior stood at the edge of a deep canyon. Below them, buried in the ice, was the ancient weapon. The alien pointed toward a glowing symbol on the ground. That is the seal. It can only be opened by someone with your blood. The stranger nodded. His breath turned to mist in the cold air. He stepped forward and knelt beside the seal. He placed his hand on the icy surface. It lit up. The ground shook. Lines of energy spread across the ice like cracks in glass. Then the seal broke open with a loud boom, revealing a tunnel that led deep into the planet. They entered without speaking. The walls of the tunnel were smooth and strange. Not natural ice, but something older. Alien. Made by hands, but not human ones. Glowing lines lit their path. They moved quickly, knowing the enemy would come. Far below, the tunnel opened into a large chamber. It was round, silent, and filled with strange machines covered in frost. In the center, floating above a stone platform, was the weapon. It looked like a crystal, black, sharp, and full of energy. It pulsed with light every few seconds, like a heartbeat. The alien stared at it. This is what they feared. The stranger stepped closer. What does it do? It can reshape time, the alien said. Not just destroy worlds, but rewrite history. Make one side always win. Erase the rest. The stranger looked down. And I'm the one who can turn it on. Yes, the alien said, but also the only one who can destroy it. Before they could move, alarms echoed through the chamber. The enemy had arrived. Explosions shook the tunnels above. Red lights blinked. The alien turned toward the entrance. I'll hold them back, he said. No, the stranger said. We do this together. But the alien stepped forward. You must finish the mission. I failed once. I won't fail again. He charged out of the chamber with a roar, blade glowing in his hand. The stranger turned to the weapon. It was calling him now. He stepped closer, his mind filled with strange images. Cities on fire, the sky cracking open, soldiers crying out for mercy. But then he saw something else. Hope, peace, and stars shining over quiet planets. He reached into his coat and pulled out a device. It was small, silver, and shaped like a coin. The self-destruct system. It was linked to his DNA. It would melt the weapon from the inside, but it would also destroy him. He looked back at the chamber entrance. Blasts of energy flew past the door. He could hear the alien shouting, fighting like a storm. But more enemies were coming. Too many. The stranger placed the device into a small crack in the weapon. It locked into place. A red light appeared. Warning: destruction sequence will begin in 30 seconds. The weapon screamed. The room grew hotter, even in the middle of the ice world. The weapon pulsed faster. Energy leaked out like smoke. Suddenly, one of the enemy soldiers broke through the door. He aimed his gun at the stranger, but before he could fire, the alien appeared, wounded but still alive. He threw his sword like lightning. The enemy fell. The alien collapsed beside the stranger, bleeding. "You did it," he whispered. "It's not over," the stranger said. "The blast will kill everything in this chamber." The alien smiled weakly. "Then go." The stranger shook his head. "No, I won't leave you." The countdown ticked down. 10, 9, 8. At the last second, the alien reached out and pushed a glowing button on his own armor. A shield formed around the stranger. Then the world exploded. The chamber vanished in light and fire. Ice melted. Tunnels collapsed. The weapon screamed one last time. And then it was gone. Silence. Later, the stranger woke up in the snow. The shield had protected him, but the alien lay still beside him, his armor cracked and glowing. "No," the stranger whispered. "No, no, no." Then the alien opened his eyes. "I'm still here," he said weakly. The stranger laughed, even as tears ran down his face. "You saved me. You saved time," the alien replied. They looked up at the stars. The weapon was gone. The future had changed. The war was over, before it ever began. The alien reached out his hand. "You are my brother now." The stranger took his hand. "Then let's go, brother." They stood together, two warriors, one from the past, one from the future, and they flew off into the stars. Together, snow fell quietly over the broken ground. The frozen planet was silent again, but something had changed. The weapon was gone. The energy in the air had faded. The danger to time was over. The stranger lay still in the snow, eyes closed, breath shallow. His body had taken the full shock of the blast, even with the alien's shield around him. Time itself had tried to push him away, erase him, but he was still there. Beside him, the alien warrior opened his eyes. He groaned in pain. His armor was cracked. His skin burned, but he was alive. He looked at the stranger. "No, not like this," he whispered. He crawled through the snow and placed his hands over the stranger's chest. Energy flowed from his body. Golden light, the last of his power. His people had once been timekeepers, protectors of balance. That power still lived inside him, buried deep. He gave it all to the stranger. The snow glowed. Time bent for just a moment. The stranger's chest rose. He gasped and opened his eyes. "You saved me," he said weakly. The alien fell back, smiling. "You saved all of us." They lay there for a while, watching the pale sun rise through the clouds. Neither spoke. No words were needed. They had faced death, faced time, faced the end, and survived. Finally, the stranger sat up. "I remember now," he said. "I remember everything." He looked at his hands. "I was sent back to stop the weapon. But I wasn't just a soldier. I was chosen because I had something they didn't." The alien looked at him. "What?" "Hope," the stranger said. He stood slowly and helped the alien up. "We can't go back," the stranger said. "The future I came from, it's already different now. Change." The alien nodded. Then we move forward, together. They returned to the ship. It was damaged but still working. They lifted off slowly, fire and ice falling behind them as the engines roared to life. In space, they floated in silence. The stranger looked at the stars. "There's still so much out there," he said. "Still enemies, still danger. But no weapon," the alien said, "and no prophecy to fear." The stranger turned. "What will you do now?" The alien thought for a moment. Then he said, "I will find the others, my people, the ones who survived. We must rebuild." The stranger nodded. "And I'll help." The alien looked surprised. "You could return to your time." The stranger smiled. "That time doesn't need me now. This one does." The alien reached out his hand. The stranger took it. "You are my brother," the alien said again with pride. "And you're mine," the stranger replied. They stood together, side by side, two warriors from different times, but now with the same purpose. The ship moved forward, deeper into space. Behind them, the frozen planet grew smaller. Ahead, 1,000 stars waited, each one a new beginning. The galaxy would remember their story, not as destroyers, not as heroes, but as brothers who changed everything, together.